According to the National Electrical Code, for a single multi-wire branch circuit, such as a 12/3 cable running to a detached shed intended for a split-wired receptacle, grounding electrodes are generally not required at the shed itself. National Electrical Code Section 225.30 states that a multi-wire branch circuit is considered a single circuit specifically for the purpose of determining the number of grounding electrodes required. This implies that the grounding electrodes already present at the main service panel or the main grounding electrode system are sufficient to provide the necessary grounding for the multi-wire branch circuit extending to the shed. National Electrical Code Section 250.32, on the other hand, doesn't explicitly mention multi-wire branch circuits. It primarily addresses the requirements for grounding electrodes in the context of separately derived systems and separately derived circuits. A multi-wire branch circuit, as it's understood in residential or similar applications, does not constitute a separately derived system or circuit. Therefore, the requirements outlined in National Electrical Code Section 250.32 for grounding electrodes at a detached building typically do not apply to a standard multi-wire branch circuit supplying power to that building. Consequently, in the specific scenario you described, involving a 12/3 cable supplying a split-wire receptacle in a detached shed, you would not be required to install additional grounding electrodes, such as ground rods, at the shed itself. The grounding path established back to the main service panel through the grounding conductor within the 12/3 cable is considered adequate. It's crucial to ensure that all wiring and grounding practices comply with the latest edition of the National Electrical Code and any local amendments or regulations enforced by the authority having jurisdiction in your area. This ensures the safety and proper functioning of the electrical system. Now let's delve a bit deeper into the specifics of grounding and bonding in electrical systems, particularly as they relate to detached structures and multi-wire branch circuits. Grounding refers to the intentional connection of electrical components to the earth, typically through a grounding electrode system. This system usually consists of ground rods, ground plates, or connections to metallic water pipes that are in direct contact with the earth for at least 10 feet. The primary purpose of grounding is to provide a low impedance path for fault currents to flow back to the source, thereby facilitating the operation of overcurrent protection devices such as circuit breakers or fuses. Bonding, on the other hand, involves connecting various metallic parts of an electrical system together to create an electrically conductive path. This includes bonding the neutral conductor, equipment grounding conductors, and metal enclosures. Bonding helps to equalize the voltage potential between different parts of the system and provides a low impedance path for fault currents, similar to grounding. In the context of a detached structure such as a shed, the National Electrical Code provides specific guidelines for grounding and bonding requirements. These requirements are designed to ensure the safety of people and property by minimizing the risk of electrical shock and fire. As mentioned earlier, National Electrical Code Section 250.32 addresses the grounding and bonding requirements for detached buildings or structures. It generally requires a grounding electrode system at the detached structure if it is supplied by a feeder or branch circuit. However, there are exceptions to this rule, particularly in the case of a single circuit supplying the detached structure. The key distinction lies in whether the detached structure is served by a single circuit or multiple circuits. If the shed is supplied by only one circuit, and that circuit includes an equipment grounding conductor, then a grounding electrode system at the shed is typically not required. This is because the equipment grounding conductor provides a path for fault currents to return to the main service panel where the grounding electrode system is located. However, if the shed is supplied by multiple circuits, or if it is considered a separately derived system, then a grounding electrode system is usually required at the shed. A separately derived system is an electrical system that derives its power from a source other than the main service panel, such as a generator or transformer. In these cases, a grounding electrode system is needed to establish a local ground reference and provide a path for fault currents within the separately derived system. Now let's clarify the role of a multi-wire branch circuit in this context. A multi-wire branch circuit is a circuit that consists of two or more ungrounded conductors with a common neutral conductor. These circuits are commonly used in residential and commercial buildings to provide multiple 120-volt circuits using a 240-volt supply. For example, a 12/3 cable with a black, red, and white conductor can be used to create two 120-volt circuits sharing a common neutral. As National Electrical Code Section 225.30 states, a multi-wire branch circuit is considered a single circuit for the purpose of determining the number of grounding electrodes required. This means that if a detached structure is supplied by a single multi-wire branch circuit, it is treated as a single circuit for grounding purposes. Therefore, if the multi-wire branch circuit includes an equipment grounding conductor, a grounding electrode system is not required at the detached structure. However, it is crucial to ensure that the equipment grounding conductor is properly sized and connected to the grounding electrode system at the main service panel. This provides a low impedance path for fault currents and ensures the proper operation of overcurrent protection devices. In summary, when determining the grounding requirements for a detached structure, it is essential to consider the following factors. Firstly, the number of circuits supplying the structure. Secondly, whether the structure is served by a single circuit or multiple circuits. Thirdly, whether the structure is a separately derived system. And fourthly, whether the circuits include an equipment grounding conductor. If the structure is supplied by a single circuit with an equipment grounding conductor, a grounding electrode system is typically not required at the detached structure. However, if the structure is supplied by multiple circuits or is a separately derived system, a grounding electrode system is usually required. And, importantly, a multi-wire branch circuit is considered a single circuit for grounding purposes, as per National Electrical Code Section 225.30. Remember, electrical codes and regulations can be complex and may vary depending on your local jurisdiction. It is always recommended to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector to ensure that your electrical system complies with all applicable codes and regulations. This will help ensure the safety and proper functioning of your electrical system and protect you and your property from electrical hazards. Furthermore, it is important to note that the National Electrical Code is updated periodically to reflect changes in technology and safety standards. Therefore, it is crucial to stay up to date with the latest edition of the code and any local amendments that may be in effect. This will help ensure that your electrical system is installed and maintained in accordance with the most current safety practices. In addition to the general grounding and bonding requirements discussed above, there are also specific rules that apply to certain types of equipment and installations. For example, swimming pools, spas, and hot tubs have specific grounding and bonding requirements to minimize the risk of electrical shock in these wet environments. Similarly, agricultural buildings, such as barns and stables, may have additional grounding requirements due to the presence of livestock and the potential for corrosive environments. When working on any electrical project, it is essential to follow all safety precautions and use appropriate personal protective equipment. This includes wearing insulated gloves, safety glasses, and appropriate clothing. It is also important to energize the circuit before working on any electrical components. This can be done by turning off the circuit breaker or removing the fuse that supplies power to the circuit. Always use a voltage tester to verify that the circuit is energized before proceeding with any work. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. Electricity can be dangerous if not handled properly, and it is always better to err on the side of caution. A qualified electrician has the knowledge, skills, and experience to perform electrical work safely and in compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. In conclusion, understanding the grounding and bonding requirements for detached structures and multi-wire branch circuits is essential for ensuring the safety and proper functioning of electrical systems. By following the guidelines outlined in the National Electrical Code and consulting with qualified professionals, you can help protect yourself and your property from electrical hazards. Always remember to prioritize safety and seek professional assistance when needed. Electrical work should only be performed by qualified individuals who are trained and experienced in the safe handling of electricity. This will help minimize the risk of accidents and ensure that the electrical system is installed and maintained in accordance with all applicable codes and regulations. By following these guidelines, you can help create a safe and reliable electrical system for your home or business. Keep in mind that electrical codes and regulations are constantly evolving, so it is important to stay informed and up to date with the latest changes. This will help ensure that your electrical system remains safe and compliant with all applicable standards. And remember, when in doubt, always consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector for guidance and assistance. They can provide valuable insights and ensure that your electrical system is installed and maintained in accordance with best practices. Finally, let's briefly touch upon the importance of regular electrical inspections. Regular inspections can help identify potential problems before they become major issues. A qualified electrician can inspect your electrical system for signs of wear and tear, damage, or code violations. They can also perform tests to ensure that your electrical system is functioning properly and safely. Regular electrical inspections are particularly important for older homes and buildings, as these structures may have electrical systems that are outdated or in need of repair. By having your electrical system inspected regularly, you can help prevent electrical fires, shocks, and other hazards. In addition to regular inspections, it is also important to address any electrical issues promptly. If you notice any signs of electrical problems, such as flickering lights, tripping circuit breakers, or unusual odors, it is important to have the issue investigated by a qualified electrician as soon as possible. Ignoring electrical problems can lead to more serious issues and potentially dangerous situations. By taking a proactive approach to electrical safety, you can help protect yourself and your property from electrical hazards. Remember, electricity is a powerful force that should be treated with respect. By following all safety precautions and consulting with qualified professionals, you can help ensure that your electrical system is safe, reliable, and compliant with all applicable codes and regulations. This will provide you with peace of mind and help protect you and your property from the dangers of electricity. So, always prioritize safety and seek professional assistance when needed. Electrical work is not a do-it-yourself project, and it should only be performed by qualified individuals who are trained and experienced in the safe handling of electricity. By following these guidelines, you can help create a safe and reliable electrical environment for your home or business.